Hi, my love, beautiful souls. It's Mystic Rose 1111. Back with your Bringing Dark into Light channel message. Okay, you guys. So I'm hearing right off the bat, I'm hearing they're back at it again. Okay, somebody quit. Okay. Somebody quit drinking. I'm hearing someone quit drinking. Or they quit using, and they're using again. Okay, they're drinking again. Someone could have went to jail for a DUI or paraphernalia, whatever it is. They could have went to jail and they got put on probation, and they're not supposed to drink, they're not supposed to do drugs, and you know, they could have been getting UAs and stuff like that. And I'm hearing this person could have just got off parole, probation, and they went right back to drinking. They went right back to their old ways. Okay, this person has some devilish energy. Okay, they do have demons attached to them. They are unable to have self-control. Ooh, look at the big bumblebee. Oh, big bumblebee. They do not have self-control. Okay, and the reason I said they have devilish energy, demon energy, is usually when you drink alcohol, you're usually tempted by the devil. Okay, that's why they call it spirits. Okay, if you didn't know that, that's why they call it spirits. Okay, it's temptation. Alcohol is temptation. A lot of you guys can say it's not. Some of you guys can say, oh, I can have a drink, I can have 2 beers, drink 1 drink, blah 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 blah. It's still temptation. Okay, it is the devil's work. Okay, and when you start drinking, it's the devil's playground, and you lose self-control. Okay, this person that is back at it again, that's, you know, drinking or back doing drugs, that, you know, is no longer sober and clean, is gonna get themselves in some kind of trouble. Okay, they're gonna end up back in jail. They're gonna end up back on probation, parole. Hi. Good, how are you? Good. Nice, beautiful day. It is. So. Sorry, guys. I'm just walking, so quiet here. Okay. Just people around, so I kind of didn't want to have to give the message, you guys. So, and I couldn't push pause on my phone, so I stopped talking. Okay, so they're back at it again. It's kind of, I'll say, like, when I'm talking and I'm walking and stuff like that, you guys, it's kind of a little bit weird when people are like outside and they're like looking at you like, who are you talking to? You're on your phone, you guys. So that's why I paused for a minute. So yeah, so they're back at it, you know what I mean? Like, they're gonna get back in trouble. This person is gonna end up back in jail, probation, parole. Okay, if they are still on probation, parole, and they were back at it again, they're violating probation, parole. They're not supposed to be drinking, they're not supposed to be doing drugs, they're not supposed to be, you know, drinking and driving, they're not supposed to be out and about. They are not supposed to be breaking their curfew, because when you're on probation or parole, you also have a curfew. Okay, being in at a certain time, doing this, doing that, having to keep contact with your probation officer. This person's not thinking clearly. Okay, like I said, they're tempted. They've been tempted, and there's too much temptation around them. This person may have been in like a treatment center before, and they didn't really, they were pushed to be in, I just heard they were pushed to be in treatment. They didn't want to be there. They didn't want to quit, but they had to quit because they were forced to quit. It's not going to look good. Okay, it's not going to look good for this individual. I am seeing a masculine, you know, male, but again, it could be a female. They've been keeping it secret too. I'm hearing they have been hiding that they are using or drinking again. Okay, they're not allowing anyone to see or know about it, keeping it hidden, but people are going to know about it. Okay, it's not that hard to figure out if somebody's been drinking or using. Okay, it's not that hard, especially if they're, you know, drinking and driving. They get pulled over and get another DUI and go to jail. Someone may end up losing their car, get their car impounded, is what I'm hearing. Okay, getting their car impounded because of it. They weren't thinking clearly. I'm hearing they were not thinking clearly. They could be fighting, arguing with other people. I'm hearing this person make an excuse saying that they need a drink because it makes them feel better. It numbs the pain. Okay, but then the next day they regret it. Okay, so, you know, they end up relapsing. They end up going back at it, and then they regret it the next day. It's one reason why I don't drink anymore, you guys. I haven't drank since 2016 because every time I drink, I know I regret it every time. The next day I have a fucking badass hangover And be like, oh, I should have drank. I shouldn't have been drinking tonight or last night. Now I have a hangover. I can't do this. And that could be happening too. They're regretting it because they have a bad hangover. Someone may end up missing their job. Okay, they may end up missing their job, their work because of it. So you guys, you know what's really crazy is, I don't know if you guys have watched me before when I walked here, but I used to walk here and there's usually deer out here. Okay, there's deer out here. This is actually, you see the crosses here? This, I've walked over here before and I didn't know. I thought it was private property. And I just found out yesterday that this is going to be a church where my husband goes to. Okay, so my husband's been going to a church and they are in a community center right now and they are building a new church. And this is where it's going to be. And it's crazy because I usually walk over here and there's always these deer over here. I've had the videos of them. Yeah, so there's going to be actually a church here with the church that my husband goes to. He's not I don't know if he's a member, but you know, he found a church and this is a church that he really likes and stuff. And they bought this little area. I went to church with him. It's actually a nice little church. You know, he needs a support system, and the church that he goes to right now is supporting him and, you know, like-minded people like him. Maybe that's what I'm talking about. Is this person that has relapsed or back at it again. This person needs to find, you know, some kind of group that they can actually relate to and some kind of assistance, some kind of help. Maybe need to find the Lord Jesus, you know, helping them on their journey. I'm also hearing, okay, so if this person ended up reusing or went back to drinking again, I am hearing they may end up doing cocaine. Okay, so this person may, that could be why they're regretting it. So they end up drinking, they end up smoking, they end up doing drugs, okay, and then the next day they're regretting it. This person may get caught with this stuff on them and they'll have to do time. Okay, so it's not just about getting a DUI or, you know, violating probation. It's also getting drug charged because this person may end up having drugs on them. And I heard cocaine. Okay. They only drink, when they drink, they only do cocaine, is what I'm hearing. So they don't do this cocaine unless they're drinking. Somebody is sick of it, okay? They've had enough of it. They don't want to deal with this person anymore. They said that they got the help that they need, that they're not going to go back to it. Yeah, I'm hearing like a repeated record, okay? Like on repeat. Oh, I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to stop doing this. I won't do it again. And then the next weekend comes and it happens all over again. This person only drinks on the weekend. Okay. I am hearing this person only drinks on the weekend. They may not drink on the weekday. They have work and then they party all weekend long. I talked about this in the reading yesterday. I mentioned it in reading yesterday, guys. I mentioned that on the weekends, I'm pulling all this drinking energy, you know. It's like, okay, let's go out. We don't work over the weekend. We're going to get slaughtered. We're going to start drinking. We're going to be stupid. We're going to get behind a wheel. This person's going to end up fucking hurting somebody. Hurting themselves or hurting another person. Don't drink and drive, you guys. Do not drink and drive. It's not worth it. Call an Uber. Call a friend. Call a family member. It's not worth it. If they don't answer, that's when you call an Uber or a taxi or whatever, okay? This person ends up calling a lot of people too when they're drinking. So the only time you may hear from this person is when they're drinking. Okay, when they're under the influence. Or you won't hear from them. Okay, they're MIA. Like, haven't heard from them until Friday or Saturday. Then Friday or Saturday, you get these calls from this person. Be like, oh, how are you? And they don't stop talking. Alcohol can really, really mess with your brain too, okay? It can really, really cause a lot of brain damage, okay? You don't think clearly when you drink either. Fucking undercover car, you guys. Fucking undercover car. How crazy is that? Explorer that just went by an under fucking cover car. Wow. Whew. So yeah, I don't know. Parents, stay away from this energy. Stay away from this person. Okay, if they do call you, if they show up, they could be also showing up at your house, and that could be why. They could show up and you end up calling the police, and this police have to take them in. If the police show up and they have to take them in, that's why they could be finding out that they're on probation parole. I'm hearing two different people. I'm hearing one is off probation parole, just got off it. Okay, so one just got off of it, And that's why they're drinking again, because now they're off paper, so they think they can get away with it, but they're still acting irrational. And the other person is still on probation, parole, and they're not to be drinking, and the police showing up, and they're violating their conditions, and that means that they can get arrested. If you are on probation or parole and you are drinking or you're doing drugs or even, you know, smoking marijuana, you can go to jail for that. That is a violation. And your probation officer can keep you in, and they can actually make it so you have to finish your sentencing, okay? Like, you won't finish probation, you'll end up getting sentencing, having to go finish your time in jail or prison. People, why would you want to... This person, why would you want to fuck it up? If you're still on probation, parole, why would you want to fuck it up and go back to jail? Okay, because somebody's almost off probation, parole, and they decide to go back to drinking. Why would you want to fuck it up? Okay, you're so close. You're so close to getting off probation or parole, and then you fuck it up. And then you're back in jail, and then you're back on probation, parole, because now you just got a new charge. Because you caused some kind of... I'm hearing someone causing some kind of fucking accident. Totaling out a car. Person could end up totaling out a car. They could end up getting vehicular homicide, killing somebody because they were stupid. They got behind a wheel. Fucking stupid people. I was stupid once too, though. Okay, I was stupid once. I used to drink and I used to drink and drive, and it was wrong of me. It was wrong of me. I should have never got behind the wheel back 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Looking back at it, that's one. If remember, I talk about I don't regret a lot of things, but one thing, if I have to look back at about regretting, is about me drinking and then getting behind the wheel, because I could have hurt somebody else. You know, if I hurt myself, whatever, I hurt myself. But hurting someone else, I would not be able to live with that for the rest of my life. So that is one thing I do thank God every day that I did not take someone's life, and I never got a DUI. Thank goodness for that. But it's one thing that if I went back in time, I would not want to do all over again. I would not want to end up drinking and driving and taking that chance, because, you know, you just never know. So this person needs to get some help. This person needs some kind of treatment. Okay, they really need to check themselves into treatment and actually follow through with it. Okay, I know treatment's not for everybody. Hi, Birdie. Hi, Birdie. Treatment is not for everybody, but treatment does help. Treatment helped me out. I love treatment. I loved it. I got away. It was good for me. I had any fucking thing going on and stuff. It was just kind of nice getting away from everything. But sometimes it doesn't help some people. But in this situation, this person needs some treatment. I'm not, like, they're getting locked in jail, going to jail, doing their time. They're just going to get right back out and do it again. Okay, that's what I'm hearing. This person's going to get out and do it again. Okay, they really, really need something that's going to actually help them and really want to, you know, stop doing what they're doing. They need to allow the Lord in. So, ow. Someone's own mother could be calling in their son, okay, for drinking and driving. Or I just heard this son could be getting drunk with their mom, an older son, drinking, does drugs with their mom. Oh, wow. There could be a son that does drugs with their mom, drinks with their mom, parties with their mom. Wow. Wow. Both of them should be locked up. Yeah. Oh, look at the birds. What are they fighting? Are they fighting? Are they fighting? I've seen birds fight before. Could be some kind of fight tonight? Some kind of fight with them? What the hell? Were they mating or were they fighting, you guys? Never seen that happen before. You can hear all of them over there. Chirping away, gossiping, talking shit. Acting irrational. Being cruel to each other. This person's gonna have a bad hangover, and that's what I just said. They're gonna have a bad hangover. They're gonna be waking up somewhere where they don't remember where they're at. They're not gonna remember how they got to jail. That's how bad it is. I mean, they're not gonna remember how they got to jail or how they got home. Okay? Someone also could be sleeping outside, and the police showing up because they're so intoxicated. And wow, somebody ends up leaving, and they end up in someone else's apartment building or house, and the people come home or they wake up to this person there, and they call in the authorities, and this person doesn't know how they got there because they're so drunk, intoxicated. They don't even know how they got there. They like blacked out. Wow. Someone's doing, I'm also hearing like a hit and run here. Okay. They're drunk driving and they hit and run. I'm seeing sideswept a vehicle, or sideswept like something that like, it could even like taking out of like a mailbox. Okay, hitting a mailbox, or somebody running into like a home, a building. Crashing their car. Wow. Okay, well, I don't know. There's a lot going on. Stay away from these people. Stay away from this energy. You just don't know what you're going to get with this person. You just don't know how they're going to, you don't know how they're going to react. Okay? Stay off the roads, I'm hearing too. Even though you could be a really good driver, stay off the roads right now. Because you don't know if you have some crazy idiots that are drinking and driving. Or even under the influence of anything else. Be cautious. Watch. I love you guys. I hope everyone's safe. Be safe. I love you. Love, peace, light, healing. Namaste.